David started off a little bit slow, but then he kind of tightened it up at the end. Can you kind of talk about what you saw there?
Yeah, I think what you saw was a little bit of a mentality start for him. He was a little under the weather, and we were tossing the coin whether to let him pitch or not. He wanted to go. He felt strong, and he had a good day of practice yesterday, and probably was a little out of his weekly routine. And he'd be the last guy to probably say that or make an excuse, but I didn't think he was quite as crisp with his stuff. And tip your cap to the Cardinal. They did a nice job. Those conditions early in the game with the sun shining and the glare and the sun on the mound and shade is not the easiest hitting conditions, and they squared up a lot of balls off David early. And Coach Dietrich went out there and kind of recognized that he wasn't maybe quite as sharp. And I thought he got better as the game went along, and then obviously his pitch count got up. But that extra run that they tacked on ended up being a big factor in the game.
You see under the weather, just kind of a sickness, not any sort
Yeah,
of
he had
physical
like
ailment,
a sore throat and congestion, and felt weak and had a fever and stuff like that. And whatever flu virus that was. I think it was behind him. I'm sure David would be the last guy, and I'm certainly not taking away from the Cardinals' effort. They were good. They squared up a lot of balls on him.
Come back late, second and third, and makes a diving stop there. Otherwise, two could get in, and then Casser's on there. And I mean, you guys had some runners on there in the last two to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, our best at bats were late, and the guys had the will to win, kind of like the Arizona game on the second Arizona game. And that was a tremendous play by the second baseman. I kind of scratched my head wondering why he was so far over there with Dyer, because Dyer typically is, except for the ball down the line that I'm not going to talk about.
Foul ball.
Yeah, the foul ball. That, whatever. That's the way it was. And so I guess that makes sense that he was a little bit in the four-hole, but what a tremendous play that was. Obviously a game-saving play.
If your team would have tied it or possibly taken the lead, would you send David back out for another inning?
No, I think he was pretty done at that point. We're still selecting. It might have been a different duck, but Coop did a nice job. Cooper Stiles did a nice job. And it would have probably been Zwetch at that point had we tied the game up. Trying obviously to get to Kenyon with the lead. And their big horse is, Hawk is a tough guy to there's a reason they put him in early, and he's a tough pitcher.
Comment on the pop fly over there.
The ball on the line?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. You can use your imagination of what we thought.
You just haven't lost an opener, had to come back and get two. It's kind of a different situation for you guys now to come back and have to get the last two to get a series.
Yeah, that's because David's been so darn good. It's unfortunate. I feel terrible that the offense wasn't able to pick him up when he wasn't quite as automatic in conference as he's been. And now it's up to us to pick ourselves up off the deck and get a series at home. And the games with the Cardinal, no matter when I've coached against Marcus, years and years, and last year included, are always a play or two that determine the win and loss of the game, or a run here and a run there. And so hopefully, if there was one thing that I thought we could have done better, I didn't think we were as tough outs early. Our guys were shaking their head a little bit on the some of the pitches and so forth and so on. And I'll have to look at the tape, but we didn't adjust, I don't think, early enough against the left-hander. He did a nice job. He had that glove side fastball working very good, and I thought we could have stayed behind some balls and maybe been tougher outs against him. Put more pressure on him at least early.
What does the late rally and then an eventual, kind of heartbreaking loss at the end of this game do for your team going into the rest of the series?
Well, you commend the effort, the fact that we didn't give up and felt like we could win and made a run at them, including the ninth inning. And there was no real moral victories. None of us are going to feel real good about that. But the fact that when we show up, we try to play 9 hard innings, and we did that. That's controllable. Sometimes winning and losing isn't controllable. So I'll tell you what, for a coach, the 18-4 shellacking that we took at Arizona, you don't go back and play a bunch of plays over when it's that. You kind of look at the whole thing, and when it's a one-run game, as a coach, you think you could make a difference in doing some different things. So I'll have a sleepless night, and I'm sure some of our Warriors will too, and hopefully we get back after it tomorrow.